Where Bainbridge really comes in is taking a lot of the data that the business generates and automating a lot of the sort of insights that come from that data. Before Bainbridge, it was always a struggle to like really take that data, understand how the business plays out, over a several year period as these repeat cohorts mature, and be able to plan the business using that data quickly and easily. It's a lot more scientific, where we're able to leverage the data that we have, and we're able to look at our repeat cohorts, and we're able to look at cost of acquisition in a really smart way and be able to predict those two most important things, which are like, how do we get really good at predicting where revenue is going to be, and how do we get really good at predicting where cost of marketing is going to be? And ultimately, it makes us run the business in a much smarter way and avoid risk where we can, and really be able to understand where the business is going and what drives it, and ultimately, run the business in a very data-driven way, which is always kind of the goal from when we started.
The tool that they're building at Bainbridge is really, really unique. And I think for somebody like us that, we have 70,000 subscribers, we're a pretty decent sized business. We have multiple segments of our business, multiple segments of even our digital business, right? Subscriber, non-subscriber, all of that, that we're trying to understand. And they've built a really amazing tool that allows us to seamlessly understand performance versus a forecast, but also understand scenario planning, right? If we move to a 30% discount at first offer, like what does that quite literally do to our P&L? Because I think for so long, businesses, specifically in digital, have been very focused on cohorts and cohort building. And I think that's important. Like if you don't understand how your cohorts perform, that is a huge mess. But what I saw in VC all the time, and even saw in Oats to an extent, is like, how do you connect that performance to an actual P&L and like the actual cash flow operations of a business? And so I think that is the most important thing as you're building a digital business, is being able to take that cohort performance and interpolate that or extrapolate that onto a financial statement to truly understand what that means for the core of your business, which is your cash flow and your EBITDA. Shameless plug, but Bainbridge has been a huge resource for us.
As you've been building Bainbridge, I hope that we have been helpful in giving you feedback on what would be valuable to us in helping to guide kind of the building of the product. But the reason that we've been so interested in doing that is that in the process of helping you've been very helpful to us, and you've taken a look at our business, and what we've seen is as the team has grown, that approach trickles down. So it's not just the founders who take that approach; it is the first hires that you had come in, and now you're growing your team, and we're seeing that approach kind of across the board. And it's very hands-on. People take the time to understand our business.
The team is unbelievable. They've taught me the hard skills of how to use the model. College degree and hard set in Excel and PowerPoint and that sort of thing, but I don't have a finance or banking background. So if, should I have a question or am curious or need to change something, the response time is always within 24 hours. It's nothing but professional, supportive. They're advocates. They want us to succeed. It's been very, very easy to understand. I call it low tech. They tackle the high tech stuff, but the low tech stuff has been rudimentary and basic enough for me to understand. But understanding that the modeling that they do and the technology that they have is extraordinarily complicated. But it makes what we do very, very easy, streamlined, and I can access our data, our sales, our trends, like that by just going to the Bainbridge portal.
The team has been absolutely phenomenal. And I'm not just saying that for any other reason other than that they are. I mean, I think the proof is in the pudding. We use the Bainbridge model as our core model to run the business now. We wouldn't do that if we didn't feel like the support would be there and that we could solve any problem when and if a problem ever comes up. And so in the beginning, I worked very closely with the founders. The founders are building out a phenomenal team of people that really understand direct consumer e-commerce type of companies and understand the finance side of those companies. Not only understand model building, but just understand, how these businesses work. And that's like ground level, one of the most important things, because we've had finance people, in different parts of the company that just didn't understand this type of business that well. And Bainbridge is really building, teams of people that really, really know this niche and know how these models should work and know how these businesses should work. And we're able to kind of draw not only from a problem solving standpoint, but just draw, insights and knowledge from the team on how to run our business better and how to, run the model better and just understand, the potential of our business better.
What ultimately happened was when we really saw the value of Bainbridge was when the world started to change in early 2022. And suddenly we didn't have the same line of sight. We kind of had this steady growth and we kind of felt like we always knew what was happening with the business. We had a good handle on our very basic metrics. And then suddenly the world changes and it's like, whoa, this could go in 5 different directions. We need to know what each one of those directions looks like. And we weren't sophisticated enough to do that ourselves. And so that was the impetus to be like, okay, we need someone like Bainbridge to help us to get there. I'd probably lean into 2 things. One would be, are you planning to hire a finance team? And if the answer is no, then I should say, well, you should be. And if the answer is yes, then I would say, well, you should look at some of those planned hires and you should think about what you would be saving by contracting with Bainbridge instead of bringing those people on in-house, because I think it would be significant.
We don't feel like we need like a full-time CFO. Is that we feel like between Brian and myself and people like Bainbridge, and then we have like an outsourced accounting CFO group that we use that have also been great and instrumental. But we feel like between Brian and myself, we have the internal capacity and capability to understand what inputs do we want to change? What's the strategy behind how we're looking at this scenario of the model? And then, with people like Bainbridge and AJ, we have the tools to execute on that.
Bainbridge has actually been almost the most valuable sort of external finance partner that we've had because of the ability to crunch the data and give us a model that kind of makes sense for our business, and then build on that model. And ultimately, we're now really running the business from the model. Before, when we've had internal finance people, a lot of the work that the business needs out of the finance function is, hey, what does our model say where there's going to be a cash need, or how do we think about how these next 2 years play out in terms of what kind of debt partner we use, or if we need to raise equity or not raise equity. And so what Bainbridge has done is ultimately provided a platform for us to have a really good model, but then also provided a tremendous amount of support in terms of helping understand that model, helping understand how all the different knobs and levers work in the model. And then that's given our internal team the knowledge to be able to then play with those knobs and levers with the understanding that we have of the business.
Just the blocking and tackling the basics of what Bainbridge is there. And it's a core building block to our business and to our success. So as we grow, Bainbridge will be there. They work hand in hand alongside our bookkeeper, getting our monthly P&L reports as well, and just cross-checking. So it's a good gut check. We're as strong as our data, and that because that's a bedrock of the company, we will grow with Bainbridge.